nine, eight, seven, six, five, four, three, two, one.
All systems go.
You're listening to Sudbury News Talk
I want to show you something.
Stand by.
on the morning shift.
Anything
Could happen.
Sudbury News Talk on the morning shift.
Hey everyone, good morning. Welcome to Sudbury News Talk on the morning shift. I'm AJ Walsh. Grateful to be here today on this beautiful Thursday, August the 25th, Greater Sudbury. We have pretty much everything there is to know that's been going around in terms of news from yesterday. We're going to be talking about it today. And if you haven't been with us before, welcome. Thanks for being here, and we're grateful to be with you this morning. And the show has been going since March as in this incarnation as Sudbury News Talk on CKLU and on Facebook and on YouTube. And we originally started as Sudbury Sports Talk back in 2017 on CKLU. We never went live on social media, however. So this is kind of all new, but we're having a lot of fun and it's pretty exciting. And there's all kinds of new things always happening, including just getting the thing up and running to begin with in our studio in Sudbury. And then myself having gotten a new job in Espanola, having to figure out how to set up a studio in my office here and also deliver it from here as well. And so far, so good. We had our first one from the office yesterday, and it went rather okay. We had a little bit of a hiccup at the beginning, which was kind of hilarious. But other than that, everything worked, and we're just grateful to be here and thankful that you're with us. Make sure to like and share this video if you are on social media, and like and share the page. Get the word out. This is a community conversation about the issues and the matters that are important to us here in Sudbury, and whether you live in the city or you're outside the city, just checking in on how things are doing. This is a great way to kind of just get together every morning and make sure to comment, as some of you are already doing. And I want to make sure to have your comments ready to go up on the screen as we do each and every day, as we welcome our guest this morning. Grateful to have her, and it's Nick Gervais. Good morning, Nick. How are you doing?
Good morning. I'm super pumped to be on the show, and congrats for having your show done yesterday, because I know this whole technology can be a whole thing. So it's kind of cool that we can do this from home.
It is. I know. It's I'm really grateful for technology. I know it's, there's always that saying, technology is supposed to make our lives a lot better, but at the same time there's all kinds of issues that go with it, But at the same time, I am truly grateful for it. And look at you. You're in your office.
Yep.
Your home
my
office.
I'm in my office. They say things will get better when they bring in the robots. They'll be like, everyone wants a robot. And then the robots will take over.
Yeah, it's like that movie with Will Smith, right? I, Robot or something like that.
Yeah, they're like your best friend, and then they steal your boyfriend or something. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, no, it's true. I think there's all kinds of issues we studied just in university recently in communications, was all of the up and coming things that we need to be aware of. Just for one example of that, I don't know if everyone knows, with Facebook, you can actually download the data they have on you. And I know it's not quite like a robot, but just the data information on us. If you really want to see what kind of state of the world we're in currently, you can actually download the data that Facebook has for you. It's not the easiest thing to do, but you can actually Google it, and it took for me, it was a gig of data just on what they have on me. And I've only been on Facebook, I guess, maybe let's say 10 years. So in 10 years, they had 1 gig of data on me, and that's just text. I don't know if you're familiar with what takes up a lot of data or not. Videos take up a lot of data. Music takes up data, pictures, but text takes up very little data. and they had
Wow.
1 gig of just text on me.
Wow.
Yeah. And they
They
had
would have a lot on me because I make a lot of videos.
yeah, you do. So anybody who's on Facebook, just you can do that. That's just one little thing. So we're studying all kinds of things, and then what the future is going to look like with AI and things like that. And there are some people who even talk about, wow, it would be wonderful if the AI can take over, to run our government for us, because it could probably work better than people. So
That's an interesting conversation. I don't know
Mhm.
how I feel about that. I'll have to take a moment and actually think about that. But in our current state right now, it might be a good thing. But I guess
Uh,
it depends if they were programmed into being evil or programmed into being
yeah.
good.
Well, even just the idea of being programmed in general. Now, humans are flawed, but
Right.
we also have emotions. So our emotions trigger us to do things. Sometimes something pulls on our heartstrings, which we'll talk about today. Some things going on in the city that will probably pull on our heartstrings. And that sometimes causes change, whereas an AI algorithm, can only do what it's told, and, it doesn't make decisions based on feelings. So there's a
They
whole
can
thing there,
see
right?
It's true. They can see 7 steps ahead, 10 steps ahead, 12 steps ahead. So we might think like what you're doing is really evil, but it's actually really good. I don't think the people who are highly sensitive may like the robots because robots don't really have emotions.
And we already get that sense, right, with when we call for, let's say, a government service or something, and we have those automated things on the phone even, and we feel,
gosh.
we feel like, this is really kind of feelingless or very clinical. It just
Mhm.
doesn't feel, press 1 for this, press 2 for that, and then you end up going in that loop.
I just want to talk to somebody.
Exactly. I
Give
want a
me
human
a
being.
human.
Yeah, I want a
Yeah.
human being, please.
Yeah.
Okay, well, we're going to be talking about today a lot of things that have to do with human beings and human beings running for city council, which isn't controlled by AI yet. So we still have people running the city, and so they are up for, our election comes up October the 24th, and so we're going to be talking. There's a lot of people kind of releasing their platforms and things like that. So whoever's done it and whoever's made it to the mainstream news, given Sudbury.com or Sudbury Star or Northern Ontario CTV News or CBC, we'll be covering anything that's anyone's put out there, along with an invite to anyone who wants to come on the show who's running, and we could interview you, and you never know, maybe you'll be able to pull on some heartstrings out there with your platform and get some votes. So before we get into that and the headlines on Facebook that we've shared, we're going to get right into our weather. We'll be back right after this. So far, if you're able to get out there and see the weather, you'll notice that it's a little bit.
It feels like a September morning.
It does. I'm getting an echo right now. I never had it before, so let's see if I do this, if it helps. Not sure. I have an echo on my end, and it just came in after playing that video for some reason.
I can't hear anything.
Okay. Well, I don't know if anyone at home can hear an echo, but I definitely do. But these are the things that have been happening just out of the, okay, the echo's gone. So whatever happened there, stop the echo. So we have currently, it's 14 degrees. It's wind is coming from the northeast, 11 kilometers. Today we should be expecting it to be cloudy, continue on that overcast state, and 40% chance of showers this morning. A few showers beginning late in the morning, and it should accumulate to about 10 to 15 millimeters. And the temperature will stay near 16 with the UV index being 3 or moderate. And then tonight, a few showers ending after midnight, then cloudy with a 40% chance of showers. Local amount 10 to 15 millimeters. So you're getting a bit of rain today and tonight, as predicted anyways. We'll see if that actually pans out. Then For Friday, cloudy, 30% chance of showers early in the morning, becoming a mix of sun and cloud late in the morning. And the wind will be, as usual, 20 kilometers, but this time coming from the north as things start to cool down. As we're going into back to school and fall is around the corner. The summer went by too quick. And high of 20 on Friday. So getting into our long range, you have, again, chance of showers tomorrow, 30%. Saturday, Sunday look nice, 25, 26, sunny. And then ongoing, you have, they're talking for showers to begin the next week. And here's a look at the satellite. Currently over northern Ontario, you can see a lot of cloud cover and a lot of rain activity. All right, so that's your weather, and it is what it is. And at least the weekend is looking nice. So we'll be back with your headlines and a Nick right after this. So Nick, we were talking just before we came on this morning. You said you've taken up a new thing, a new kind of hobby. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, I feel like I need to do something for myself. I'm getting older. I'm not getting any younger. And my goal is to look better than I ever did when I'm 40. It's just my goal. I'm not even close to 40. I'm going to be 37. December 10th, guys, is my birthday. It's coming around the corner. I make a big deal out of my birthday. Anyway, I joined jiu-jitsu. So it's a BJJ Jiu-Jitsu, Sudbury Jiu-Jitsu. They have a location in Sudbury. They have a location in Hanmer. They do really cool things for our community as well. They have a program with Canadian Tire where if there are children that can't afford, like their parents can't afford the classes, that there's this program that you could put your kids in this jiu-jitsu program and they will pay half of the fee.
Really?
Yeah, I thought that was really cool. The guy, Steve, is the owner. Him and his wife do it together. There's women classes in town and co-ed classes in Hanmer. So I'm doing the co-ed classes because I'm a Valley girl. And it's on Mondays and Wednesdays. It was so fun. It's all about self-defense. And I'm always interested in underestimating people. That's fun to me. You know, if someone comes and grabs my purse, I go, "Hwa-ya-ya!" You know?
So you
I
mean people underestimating you if they are going to make a move in some nefarious way.
That's what I mean, yeah. Or I'll tell my brother, "Hey, try to grab me," you know? And I'll get out of it and put him in a chokehold.
So how long, like how many times a week do you go to this? And like how much
so the classes are $15 a class. And of course there's membership. And if you sign up for 6 months, you get a free uniform. So
cool.
I signed up for 6 months and your girl's not really consistent. So this is going to be a challenge for me. And I love challenges. And so we will see. It's twice a week, Mondays and Wednesdays.
Well, something that helps consistency would be the idea that it is at a certain time on a certain day, and you have to be there. And if you paid for it,
Exactly. So I'll
Great.
keep you posted on that.
I think it's really great. I think all of us should be capable to defend ourselves, period.
Mm-hmm.
I just think it's also fun at family reunions and things to demonstrate. But I think mostly it's good to be able to have that ability if you're ever in a situation where you need it.
They even have classes for kids. I'm going to be bringing in my daughter. My daughter likes to wrestle. It also builds up confidence. Like if you can protect yourself, it builds up confidence. And I feel like as humans, we're sitting down all the time. We sit down and we walk to go sit down. We need to move around. It'll be good for our brain. It'll be good for our heart. And, fall's coming. So it's a really good time right now to look into something that you can do, move around, that could lift up your spirits.
Yeah. So not only is it good exercise, right? Like you say, you're getting exercise, but you're also learning a skill, a very, very, very valuable skill at the same time. So
I agree.
Yeah, that's pretty darn awesome. So yeah, if you're interested in doing that, you can get a hold of Nick and she can fill you in on some of that information if we missed it.
Yeah, you can get a free class.
Hey, wow, there you go. on you, or you get a free class if you sign up for 6 months, or is
You
it
just
just
get
through
your
you?
first class is always free.
Oh, okay.
Because
Cool.
you want to check it out.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Now, this is just fresh off CBC's Facebook page, and I heard them talking about it on the way into work today. And that's the efforts to get housed continues as more than 30 people still in Sudbury tent encampments. So Greater Sudbury says it's providing outreach to people setting up tent encampments in areas beyond the city center, which they've been recently displaced out of. So they're going into other places now. We had a report just a few days ago about people living around Ramsey Lake complaining that there are people kind of encroaching on them. So I guess city says it has helped 157 people find housing. So this is a huge deal. Now it's hot because the province wants to give mayors more power. That's one thing to get housing made in cities. So this is kind of it's a hot topic around the province anyways. And then in Sudbury, we're going to be making more housing available to solve the problem. In October 2021, the city of Greater Sudbury said it counted 88 people that lived in a tent encampment in Memorial Park. Now the city says around 30 people live in several small encampments scattered around Greater Sudbury. Estimates that there are around 30 people living in 10 or 11 small tent encampments spread around the city. And the population decreased over the winter months. And in April 2022, the city evicted the few people that still lived in Memorial Park. So the director of Children's and Social Services, Tyler Campbell, we might be related, says we're certainly nowhere near where we were last summer or even the summer before that from a total encampment situation. Campbell said that the city has always had small tent encampments, but they became more visible in downtown Sudbury at the height of COVID-19 pandemic.
It's a really sad situation that's happening, and it's becoming a bigger problem. But I love that the city's doing something. It's good. It's great. But Ali even said, we're not providing support, therapy, psychological services, psychiatric services, or nearly as many people as we need to. So I feel when I start seeing that, I'll be really happy. The problem just keeps happening. And what I'm hearing is happening is that the surrounding cities are sending the homeless to Sudbury.
Yep.
So we're not just helping our own town, we're helping all across, like Elliott Lake, North Bay, the Sioux, like places that may not have some safe injection sites. They're all coming over here. And then now our city. So it's a little tricky situation, but I love that people are getting help, especially before winter, because they need it. So it's
definitely.
good that there's movement happening right now, and this is really good.
Yeah, Campbell said they added 368 people. They added their names to a voluntary list, which is shared with several social service providers, including Sudbury's Homeless Network, Canadian Mental Health, Monarch Recovery Services, and the Schwagemock Native Friendship Center to help them better coordinate their outreach efforts.
One thing we really do have when I was helping one of the shelters downtown is that we have some incredible volunteers. There are tons of people out there volunteering. We have really amazing people in the city that are trying to help. And it's just, there's so much red tape through the city to even help.
Yeah.
So it's nice to see something actually happen.
Yeah, I think we were talking about the one that I think you were involved with, at least trying to help
40
out.
new units.
Yeah. And the city, I guess, said it wasn't safe or something. Oh no, the one on Regent Street. There was the old Navy League Hall or something like that.
Yeah, I was part of that team.
Yeah, and they were trying to help, and people were sleeping inside. Instead of sleeping outside where it was 40 below, they offered people to come in and sleep, but the city said it was unsafe, right? So they
Yeah.
just basically
But it was safe for a bar. There was a bar in the basement. That was safe to have a bar. And then there was people living in the apartments upstairs. That was
Yeah.
safe. But in the hall, it was not safe to have, you
Mhm.
know, 20, 30 people. And it was so great because all the volunteers were there, and these individuals that were using the services, they were sharing their story, and they were getting sober, and they were feeling like a family, feeling like a home. They didn't feel like just like a number. But what started happening is that because we were taking them away from other services,
Mm.
these other funded services weren't getting the numbers that they were getting. Therefore, they weren't getting the money. And it was all about money. And when we're helping homeless people, it shouldn't be about money. It should legit be about helping people.
You bring up a good point there, because behind the scenes, there's always, it's a business kind of model. Like you said, there's associations. And I've always wondered, and again, like, do they really want it? Does the cancer industry really want there to be a cure for cancer? The Cancer Association, all the people that are selling the products that make chemo and all that. Let's say one day, all of a sudden, there came out a cure. Like, there'd be a lot of people. We don't want to think this way. We don't think this is possible. We don't think human beings could stoop to that level. However, you have to ask yourself that question.
But we see humans stoop to that level every single day. And what the funny story is, I actually met someone who found a cure for cancer, and it was sent out. And of course, she didn't hear anything. And she's like, Nick, this cures breast cancer. And I just thought that was interesting. I'm like, oh, well, nothing's ever going to come from that. And sure enough, nothing did. But you're right. Like, who knows? Who knows? There's just so much money to be made in cancer research, and it's all about profits. And we all know as a collective that it is all about profits. It's always about the bottom line. It's all about ego. And until we remove our ego and really want to live in a loving environment and realize that the more we give, the more we all get.
Yep.
But there's some people that just want more for themselves.
And I think we need to almost I think we're making some good headway here. I'm not sure about the safe injection site. I think the verdict is still out on that for me, whether or not, that's positive. It might be a step in the right direction, but I don't think it's the whole answer. I think they need a more holistic approach to not only have a safe place, but also have protocol in place for rehabilitation.
Yeah. And I think maybe right now there's this opportunity. I want to speak with them. I want to know the pros and cons of this safe injection location. And I want to learn more about it, because this is the only way we can grow as a community, is to be educated. Because in a sense, we're all ignorant. If we don't know the information, we're so ignorant. So we don't really know. But the more we have this conversation and be open to having these conversations, where so many people are terrified of having conversation because what if I say the wrong thing? And it's like, I'm human and I will say the wrong thing, but I love learning new things. Therefore, I can grow and I can change. We can change our opinion. We should be okay with, oh, you know what? I was wrong. I used to view things this way, and now I view things this way. And that's what being human is all about.
Yeah, exactly. Now, Campbell said that being on that list has helped 157 people find housing. 56 people had their names removed from the list, and another 155 are still waiting for affordable or subsidized housing. The community has done a great job. This is a quote by him. The community has done a great job. And the key to coordinated access is that everyone is working with the same individual to get them housed. Now, again, coordinated efforts is where the way to go, like everybody working together. And apparently, Avi Ali, executive director of the Go Give project, says she's aware of 11 people who had recently found affordable housing, but were evicted in August. Now, that's the thing. They want to concentrate on getting housing, but also then keeping it going. Like, because a lot of times maybe lifestyle choices or whatever, neighbors could complain or whatever, and they get evicted for whatever reason or whatever. So we have to continue to look at the follow through from all of this and have people get housing, keep in housing, and then other services that would be able to help them as well. to stay in a safe environment instead of having to be outside. Unless, this is what I think. If someone wants to choose to live outside, that's different than having to live outside. Do you know what I mean? Like, I think there are still some people, I know we don't think that's possible, but I have met some who actually just choose to live without a home.
I met a lot of them, and they're not even drug users. They're not alcoholics.
Yeah.
We may argue there might be some type of mental health, or may not. It's just some people don't want to be part of the system.
Yeah.
And others have mental health issues, and they're not drug users. They're really great people. They just feel disconnected, and they're not good at doing the paperwork. They're not good at calling. They're not good at organizing their life.
Yeah. And that's what I mean. I think those people, okay, that's fine. But the ones that aren't choosing to live outside and it just to live without a home, and they can't find affordable housing, or there's just barriers there. That's what I mean. We need to make sure at least those people have a safe place to live and live with dignity. And the ones that choose to, that's fine. I mean, that's a choice.
It's true. Let's talk about everyone who, because of the real estate, everyone's selling their properties. And these are really healthy families, healthy couples now on the streets. I've met some people like that are on the streets, and they didn't want to be on the streets. It's just my rent and IC was, $1,200, and now rent is $2,000, and I can't afford that, and I have nowhere to go, and I have no family around here. So my wife is in the women's shelter, I'm in the men's shelter, and she has her children. So that's actually happening as well. And let's talk about, it's very difficult for people to build here. It's not easy. The city makes it very difficult. So we have a renting problem.
Yeah, it was already hard to begin with, and then with the pandemic, and then inflation and housing market and all that on top of it, it made it all that much more worse. Mm-hmm. So these are the kind of issues that the new council, these and many, many, many others, the new council is going to have to address. And so here we have Ellen Dutrzak, who just launched her campaign. Evelyn Dutrzak, just launched her campaign yesterday. She says she has a new vision, a vision to make Greater Sudbury greater. I guess that's, you can't make Sudbury great again, but you can make Greater Sudbury greater. Okay. Right? That's a good slogan. Dutrzak wants to put the great back in Greater Sudbury. So here we go with some slogans and some marketing and stuff like that. But then we got to get to the nitty gritty. Formally launched her mayoral campaign yesterday at the Crusoe Club with a spaghetti dinner. It was delicious, by the way. It's just according to the author of the article. If elected, Dutrzak said she plans to prioritize the residents of the municipality. And this is a quote from her. I truly care for the people. I care for all the communities, and I care for Greater Sudbury. I want to ensure that our hard-earned tax dollars are spent wisely and efficiently. I want to empower and stand up for all the residents, and I want to support business and industry. Dutrzak served as Ward 4 councillor for the city of Greater Sudbury from 2006 to 2018. We mentioned that yesterday. Before that, she sat on council for Rayside Belfour. She was succeeded 4 years ago by Jeff McCausland. She stepped away from politics. So I guess she's back now running for mayor. So those are nice words, right? Those are good words.
Well, they always have nice words.
Yeah.
It's always about nice words.
She's been part of council for quite some time, right? She's been part of the decision making and part of that whole
Yeah. That's cool. So she already has a bit of a resume, and I'd love to see her resume on what she actually has been part of or has done.
Yeah. Yeah.
That'd be awesome.
Voting records are really telling, right? Like, you see what councillors voted on, what kind of things they put forward to the community, like what they wanted to have done to be voted on. Things like that are really good to go back and kind of check out.
Okay.
So that means she does have a bit of a pedigree, right? So if you want to dig and you want to know if she's the right one for the job, then you can check that out. And it's up to us to do that. We need to be informed voters. Just going to
Yeah.
stick with
I'm going to
our
try to. I just
You're-
sent her a message.
Evelyn Dutrzak. You just sent her a message.
Yeah, and I said I'd like to talk to her on the
cool.
show.
There
Yeah.
you go. Well, that's the first invite, I guess, a formal invite.
Oh no, actually, I just invited someone else, and she'll be on the show tomorrow. I should ask
Okay.
you first
Thanks for letting me know, but no, I think that's great. And who would that be?
who you're about to talk about.
Oh, right here. Look at that. It's a great segue.
I know.
So this is an opinion piece in Sudbury.com. Positivity goes a long way, Ward 7 candidate says. So there's so much to be proud of in Greater City of Sudbury, and it's important for us to balance out the negative talk and start working towards a more positive dialogue regarding our city, says Natalie Labby. Oh, you know what's interesting? A coworker here said that she's a good friend of hers and that I should interview her and that she should be willing to come on the show.
I just sent her a message, and she says, "Okay, so she'll be on the show tomorrow."
Wow. Well,
I
that's
said,
great.
I'm on the show right now. I'll be in touch with you, and I'll just confirm that that's all okay.
Good. So she'll be the first, which is great, right? Like that just shows, people's willingness. Now I've put it on the show. I just, for the last, I guess, month or so, we've been talking. If you are running, that you are welcome to come on. And I think CKLU themselves are putting out an official kind of invite to all of the candidates for mayor and city council to come on CKLU on various talk shows that can interview them. And this is one of them. And ours arguably would get more out there because I think we're the only ones that Facebook Live or YouTube Live as well. I'm not sure. I think some others might, but we're a daily show. We're on every day. So we do.
I'm
have a
really
listenership.
excited because I like to be informed. I like politics. I like controversy, and I like knowing information, but I never know what's really going on unless it's in front of my face. So I'm really excited to be part of this team in the show so that I can really know more about what's going on in the city. It's interesting that if you want to know more, you got to get involved. You have to get involved, and it's the only way. And that's what I love about this show is that we grab all this information and we talk about it in an easy way to understand. And because we could then learn opportunities to better this city. And if we don't know what's going on, it's easy for things to just slip under the rug and we have no idea what's going on. But if we know what's going on, then it's an opportunity for us to either keep sitting still, or actually stand up and get up and do something.
It's true. And how great is that to just think that, people can even come on the show and like you said, get involved, right? So here's a chance for people to ask questions through the Facebook and YouTube comments. You can just, hey, here, ask Natalie, what do you think you're going to do about this situation? So again, this is a chance for people to really like get involved and find out instead of saying, well, they're just going to do things the same as everyone else. And well, no, here's your chance to actually ask a candidate questions that, are important to you. Get involved.
Because we're so easily to be negative. And even myself, I'm like, well, the city could be better. Well, Nick, what are you doing to make the city better?
Yeah.
And do some research and see how you can make the city better. And I'm all about being positive, but I know that sometimes we need to also be realistic and realize that there are a lot of issues. I know downtown Sudbury, they like to talk about downtown Sudbury. It's so beautiful. And they're just talking about all the positive things. It's like, have you gone downtown? Have you gone downtown? Just talking about how beautiful downtown is doesn't make it beautiful or safe.
And that's the thing. And then it sets itself up for people to really, it's almost like it sets itself up to fall because it's almost like saying you're the greatest at something. And then you deliver whatever you think you're the greatest at. And then someone says, well, it's not the greatest because you talked it up so much. So for people going downtown's the best and this, that, and the other, and then you go down there and you see some of the things you talked about that are less than stellar. And then you have a worse taste in your mouth rather than just calling a spade and say it's a work in progress. Many things we're doing, we want to make it good. So come down and make downtown better, because right now it needs you. Downtown needs you to be better. Instead of downtown's already great, come and experience it, which it's not, you know.
It's interesting. Downtown's interesting. That's another whole topic we could talk about. But I was just thinking, there are so many buildings that we could have a ton of people live downtown. But you know what, Aaron? These buildings aren't safe. That's why they can't do construction in these buildings. A lot of them are unsafe, and that's why they're not building apartments in there. Bring the people downtown. There's not enough people that even live downtown. There's tons of empty buildings. And I'm hearing from people who work at architectural firms, and that's what they're saying. These buildings aren't safe. And I'm like, okay, so then.
Yeah, we'll make them safe or whatever. So what's safer, the buildings or sleeping outside? I don't know.
Good question.
That's the thing. I mean, yeah. And you mentioned a good part that there's an ecosystem of services that are out there that already exist, and they're kind of vying for numbers. They each got to get their numbers and stuff. And so if that ecosphere there's a hole in that and it's not serving the community properly, that would be good to do an assessment of all of our services and see if all of the needs of the community are met, and especially to do with our homeless, right? Like to do an audit of that.
It would be very interesting to know if all these services are downtown.
Oh, exactly.
Because then they want the homeless downtown.
Yeah. Well, it sounds like that because they want the services. But I think at the end of the day, I don't know, there is an industry around homeless too. You did mention that. So maybe there are some organizations that don't want homelessness to go away. And again, I would hate to think that, but if that's who they serve, and then they would go away if there were no more homeless, then your job is gone. And your
would you
funding
be
is
proud?
gone.
Like, I no longer have a job because I did my job.
Yeah.
There's no more homeless on the streets.
I would like to think that that's possible for sure, but I'm a little skeptical on that.
Same.
Now here you go. Partners on board for affordable housing project in Sudbury. This is from the Sudbury Star. Habitat for Humanity Ontario Gateway North is collaborating with experts to build in the building and training fields to construct multiple cost-effective homes. So that's a good thing. It's a good sign. The initiative, titled Our House / Notre Maison, will bring much-needed affordable housing to the city of Greater Sudbury and communities in the Sudbury district, the organization said in a release. Joining the not-for-profit housing organization on the project are Collège Boreal, construction companies such as Ellis Don and Sablier. I think that's the pronunciation of that. Sublier. As well as local architectural firm Third Line Studio.
Ooh, I like to hear this, guys. Local architectural firm, Third Line, because one of the things the city's also doing is they're bringing in a lot of firms from Toronto, and they're not even supporting their own local businesses. So this is great news.
It is. So Michael Cullen, the new director of community partnerships for OGN, said this can only be achieved with like-minded large-scale partnerships and transparent community input, which I agree with. The Our House / Notre Maison coalition brings partners together to help accelerate the planning, design, and building of these homes. Good on this partnership, because this is the way things can get done, for sure. Cullen said inclusivity is another important element of the initiative. To make it inclusive.
He says make it inclusive. Strong communities can only be built when we all contribute to a greater good.
Yep.
I agree with that.
100% agree. So, speaking of issues and housing and elections, we have in the news again our favorite, Robert Kerwin. This is, I believe, an article written by him. So again, this is obviously bias. It's written by him, but so this is his own opinion.
Did he pick the picture?
He might have, because he looks very, I don't know. He's really
He looks
interested
angry in this
something.
photo.
He looks very intense. He's fighting for you.
Or passionate. He looks
Very
passionate.
passionate. Very passionate. Election 2022. This group, Greater Sudbury's best council yet. Kerwin.
Oh, okay.
We positioned our city well for the future. In my role as councillor in Ward 5 for the past 8 years, it is my opinion the existing city council collectively has proven itself to be more cohesive and has demonstrated more effective leadership than any group of councillors since the greater city of Sudbury was formed through amalgamation in 2000.
Is this a joke? I don't know.
No, it's not. This is Robert Kerwin.
Let's see if we can get him on the show.
Oh, I think we can. I don't think he would back down from
All right.
from a good show.
I know a lot of people because I'm in the Valley and he has the Valley East page and lots of people have an opinion. So I think we could have a lot of questions for him.
I think so. Yeah, there's a lot of densely populated area. I think it was a city even before amalgamation, Valley East. So it was the city of Valley East, not even the town. I remember that was a big deal, changing it from town to city. And then it amalgamated anyways, so it all became part of Greater Sudbury. He said, the first point I want to make is that council functions as a whole. And so when you are speaking of leadership, you must recognize the collective responsibility to lead and not individual leadership attributes. In fact, there is no such thing as a split decision by council. All decisions are majority decisions. And therefore, when you look at the decisions this current version of city council has made over the past 4 to 8 years, they speak for themselves in terms of strong and effective collective leadership. I don't know if that's true. I don't know if it speaks for itself.
Well, when you write your own article, there's that. And I don't know. I don't feel like our city is any better today than it was
8 years ago, is what he's saying.
Yeah,
4 to 8 years
I
ago.
think it's gotten worse. There's more. It feels like there's more violence. It feels like there's more people dying on the streets. It feels like there's more homelesses. So I don't know.
The opioid epidemic, right? That's very much increased in our city. And,
it feels like there's more division. It feels like, there's nothing really exciting happening in Sudbury. No big projects that are bringing the community together. And I might be wrong here. I'm not even aware of it. So the fact that I'm not even aware of it is the city doing a great job of letting us know of the great things that they're doing.
Miles is saying if he says it enough, it becomes true. A popular way to spin things.
Right.
So yeah, I mean, if you say, we do a great job, it's a great job, but I guess at the same time, we aren't in those positions. And I've always said it's challenging, right? Like you can't put all the responsibility on somebody, but if we do look at, like you said, the problems of the city, have they gotten better since even 2001 or as Kerwin is saying in the last 8 years, have things got better in the city? And if they did, where did they get better? And if not, where did they get worse? And so, I mean, as a citizen of the city, you can basically say your day-to-day life, like, has it gotten better? And how are you gauging that? Are the roads better?
The roads are horrible.
Have we gotten an arena that we've been trying to build for the last 4 years? Our homeless situation, have we dealt with that? It looks like there's some good things in place here, and there might be some good things in the future, but that's, again, it's not solved yet. Or, yeah, exactly. It could be a lot of talk. And our opioid crisis, has that gotten any better? Is it getting worse? We were talking yesterday, Billy and I, we wanted to do a comparison, COVID deaths compared to overdose deaths, and see which ones would have been higher over the last 2 years. Because I'm thinking from the numbers we got yesterday, if we did a deep dive into it, they could actually
There's a bigger
could be
opioid crisis than COVID.
Could be.
So it should be a city emergency where the community gets
Exactly.
together and does something.
Yeah. Or just something. Exactly. So Pam says the opioid epidemic isn't simply a Sudbury problem, which is correct. It's basically a North American problem, and that is true. And it is affecting all types of communities. We talked yesterday how there's the article we were covering how Northern Ontario is way above the average of all of Ontario. Now, that's just comparing it to Ontario. It's not comparing it to North America or whatever. It was only comparing it to other numbers in Ontario, but it's way above. And the top three cities were first Thunder Bay, a close second Sudbury, and I think it was 82 deaths per 100,000 in Thunder Bay this last quarter, and Sudbury was almost 60 deaths per 100,000, and the Sioux was a close behind that. And so we're way up in terms of, even though it is a North American issue, Northern Ontario is being hit rather hard, and Sudbury's especially. So, yeah, it's something that I would love to look at, because are we addressing it with the same fervor and whatever that we were for the other? I don't know. I really don't think so. And maybe because it's not affecting us, right?
Right.
It's not affecting
I
us.
also wonder if sometimes these homeless people, we're social beings. We're meant to be in groups and part of a community. And when you put them in an apartment by themselves, that could be difficult too.
Mm-hmm. True.
They probably like the fact that, like, they probably love Tent City for numerous reasons, some good, some bad.
Yeah.
Because they were all together, they can all relate and be there for each other. So I could have compassion for that, and putting them in their own place can be difficult, where you should almost have roommates. There should be, I don't know.
And that's the thing. I think a community needs community. Like we the two mean different. Like you can say I belong to the community of Sudbury, but the community that's in Sudbury is the actual social, the level of sociality that exists in the city, the community itself. Is there a community within our community? Is everybody included? We always talk inclusivity, right? It's the buzzword these days, inclusivity.
Mm-hmm.
But is our community inclusive, really? Like, do we have a community within the community? Do we all feel welcome? Do we all feel like we play a role? Do we all feel worthwhile? Do we all feel, you know what I mean? Like we're contributing and whatever? Or do we feel like some are taking the ball and running with it and not asking us to play, kind of thing? So these are things I think we should be looking at.
It's true. I remember when I wanted to be a volunteer, it was one of my goals on my vision board is just volunteer in my community more often. And I started contacting these organizations to be a volunteer. And the things I had to do before I could even step in and volunteer was crazy. It like cost me money. Like I had to sign up for this and sign up for that. And I get a police check. But after I get a police check, I'm to give them my resume, and I need to do this and I need to do that. And I'm just like, it can be very difficult. We've gotten a little too, like, not trustworthy. Like people don't trust me. I want to volunteer. I don't know. There's a trust issue within the city. I don't trust the city. I don't trust council. I don't trust these politicians. Therefore, anything they do, I don't believe them. So that's not a good place to be in.
No, it's true. And I think if I was in politics, I would be trying to address that problem, because that's not a local thing either. I think that's a worldwide thing, possibly. Definitely North American. But Yeah.
personally think the whole system needs to crash and we need to rebuild a completely new system. And how would that system look like? I have no idea, but
Well,
what we're doing is not working.
well, that is the plans of a lot of people that are in positions of influence. So that might be coming to a theater near you very shortly.
Yeah, like a global world.
I think so. Now, Kerwin also asked, now I thought this was a little interesting. He says, I don't even have enough space here to list the major decisions we've made as a council this term. But suffice it to say, we have positioned our city well for the future. Anyone who alleges that we have a lack of leadership on council is simply admitting they disagree with some of our decisions. That's fine, but just because you don't agree with some of our decisions is not evidence of lack of leadership. So again, it's fair that he's saying, it's fair to say those things. And again, I haven't been in council for the last whatever years, and I haven't been a part of the decision making, and I haven't experienced all of the issues that Robert Kerwin would have, experienced.
Wow.
So again, right? This is his side. What are you holding up there?
I'm going to be asking him to list
Oh,
the
okay.
things
That
for
they've done.
evidence of great leadership of the
Yeah.
things they've done in Greater Sudbury.
But you're going to have to give him a time limit on that. You're going to say in 1 minute or in like 2 minutes,
Okay.
list them, and then I'm going to write them down as you're talking. Because
I like it.
we need specifics on that one, right? So he said he
Mhm.
was kind of saying why Kingsway Entertainment District didn't go through is because a lot of harassment, misinformation, and bullying, and
Why is this even part of the conversation?
'cause
So a great entertainment unit didn't happen because of harassment and
Bullying.
bullying?
yeah, and
Are we in
misinformation.
high school?
Well, again, if he's going to make the case
I
that
thought there was great leadership. Sorry, Aaron. I thought there was great leadership.
no, if he's making the case that they've made all these great things, and obviously people are going to say, well, why couldn't you build an arena? So then he's addressing that. The reason why we couldn't build the arena was because of that. And
Of
and
lack
again,
of leadership.
well, no, they had great leadership, they're saying.
Right. But
but
they're
they-
bullying each other.
They've been bullied from organizations in the community, from maybe citizens that didn't want it to go ahead, from
Well, step up.
organizations.
What do you do to a bully? You step up to the bully.
Yeah, and Robert Curran isn't afraid to step up. There's no doubt about
No.
that. He
You're
will
right.
come. He'll come for a fight any day. Now, if you even go back
Right.
to his picture, a picture is worth 1,000 words. And I'm not sharing it right now, but
I wonder if he's for KED. If he's for the KED.
he was for kid. Yeah.
Well, maybe we should team up.
Yeah. But again, right. So this was an interesting last couple of years in council. There's no doubt about it. Like unprecedented in my lifetime anyways, with all the things going on. But they did at least come up with the legacy project, the Junction East project.
Mm.
So we're not able to build the arena, but we can build the library/arts center downtown. Junction East project to be a net zero building, reported by CBC News. So it was yesterday. Sudbury's Junction East project to house the city's art gallery and library will be designated to include solar panels and geothermal heating, making it less costly to operate.
This needs to be shut down.
Yeah, it's a lot of people in the arts community, though, right? So, and I love the arts too, and I do feel myself to be one of those people as a musician, as even this thing we're doing here kind of falls a little bit under the arts, communications and radio and talk radio.
Well-
It's a little bit like that.
I know, but it's going to be $98 million right now. And when they start building it, it's going to double. So this is really a lot of money. And unfortunately, our priority should be a new arena. This could be next up.
Yes,
And it shouldn't be downtown.
it should
Do
be.
you want a bunch of homeless people living around this beautiful building?
Well, that's what's going to happen. I mean, right beside it is the Samaritan Center, right on the corner of Elgin, right by the
What I love-
Bridge of Nations.
Yeah, so I was downtown and I walked by the YMCA and they now have a little section for local bands to be playing right outside the YMCA, which I thought was so cool. It was just so interesting to just have live music downtown. It created a really cool atmosphere and I could see something like that happening in front of this gallery, but unfortunately, it's not a safe environment. I would not bring my daughter downtown.
No, and I think a lot of people agree with you.
Yeah.
For sure. A lot of people don't feel safe. And I even know of a restaurant that was downtown that just basically closed down. Like they just closed up shop because there was a fatality stabbing in front of their location and just said, that's enough.
Mm-hmm.
We're just closing down. Again, right? And I don't think they're the only business that has done that or that's been affected downtown. Downtown's a really hard issue. So downtown's an issue, homelessness, opioid crisis, the building of KED, the new building of Junction East, the how hard it is to build something in this city and all the costs and fees and regulations and things. There's so much to talk about with our candidates coming up. And I guess Natalie's going to get the first incarnation of that. And so maybe you and I should chat before the next show tomorrow and kind of get our ducks in order and a little bit of a formality, because maybe this is good. We don't want to have all the interviews totally different. We want to give everyone a fair shake. So maybe we come up with a little template of how to do the interviews with people. So that way it's kind of fair for everybody.
Yeah, I like that. And you know what I was going to say is that I may take this back. This art center sounds cool. I think we should shut down the library. The library needs to be shut down.
Which one?
The $100 million library that they're trying
That's it.
to.
This is it.
Oh, okay.
It's library/art center.
All right.
Yeah. So
Will there be a place for people, like a venue for people to host weddings here?
I don't know. It's a
Will
good
it be
question.
generating any type of income?
No.
Profits?
No.
Oh. Okay.
No.
What a missed opportunity.
No, it'll just be funded by taxpayers, but they're saying they're going to keep the costs low here, and that's what this article is about. They're going to be net zero, so it's going to cost, just as much. It's not going to cost as much to heat or whatever that it will cost us to keep it going. Needs to be a cleanup before the new building. Yeah, exactly. Now, unfortunately, we need to our
Wrap
show
up.
Yeah, because we actually have to get right off the air and right into the next program on CKLU. But we're looking forward to tomorrow. So let's chat sometime today.
Yes.
And Nick, just text me and we'll figure out a time and we'll get our ducks in a row and we'll figure it out. And looking forward to have
We'll
our
also-
first. Go ahead.
Candidate. Yeah. And talk about CKLU. Lots of stuff is going on with CKLU that people need to be aware of that we should be talking about as well.
Awesome. And maybe that's a question for the candidate as well. What can the city do as well to help CKLU, our campus
It's in
and community
danger.
radio? It is. Yep.
It's in danger.
All
It needs
right.
funding. All
Thanks,
right.
everyone. Thanks, Nick, for joining me today. And thanks, everyone,
Thanks
for
for having me.
commenting. Thanks for listening on CKLU. Right now, stay tuned for Earshot Daily, and we'll be back same time, same place tomorrow. We'll chat soon. Ciao. Bye.
This is Sudbury News Talk on the morning shift.